y'all, what's up? I hope you guys are having a blessed day. This is Pretty Girl Loves Trap Content. Hey, Pretty Girl Loves Trap Content. Hey. I don't know why I'm so turnt, y'all. Maybe I need a theme song. I don't know. But I hope you guys had a great time watching this episode. I'm surprised I'm so jolly right now because as soon as the episode went off, I was tight for about 30 minutes to an hour. I was feeling some type of way, y'all, but I will get into that later. This is my review for Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, episode 8, The Cost of Doing Business, okay? So the episode opens up with Jukebox. She's across from a church. And y'all, it's Nicole's funeral, man. Kanan is with her. And Jukebox got on a skirt, y'all. She wasn't playing. She said, I'm going to represent for my boo. So her and Kanan walks in. And, we see the guests, just congregating. And she's, talking about how Nicole died from a heart condition. So it seems as though the parents are embarrassed of how Nicole died, so they're covering it up. But yeah, we see Nicole looking so beautiful in this framed picture, and Jukebox is looking at it, and Nicole's dad was like, Jukebox, you shouldn't be here. I'm going to need you to excuse yourself. And so the wife, of course, she sees Jukebox and she's all turned up and rah, rah, rah. You need to get out. And she's telling security, whoever it is, that they need to go. And Kanan was like, she really loved your daughter. Okay. So they leave and, Jukebox was like, I got something to do. And Kanan was like, I want to roll too. She was like, no, I need to do this solo dolo. So Lord, Jukebox is on her little, emotional roller coaster right now, but we just have to let her be. So we are seeing Juliana and Gabriel. They're at the house and she's preparing, him breakfast or whatever. And he's sitting down and she's serving him and she pours this pitcher or whatever of liquid on him. I think it was coffee because it was like brown stains on his shirt. So he's like, you clumsy bee. So, they kind of get into it. And he whips out his belt. I'm like, oh, you about to beat her like a child? Like, oh. I was like, y'all, I can't. I cannot with the belt, okay? Not saying the fist is better. But y'all, it was too much. So she kind of lures him into their little shed or garage or whatever. And look who we see with a little swoop bun, giving us In Vogue vibes with a little nice little fitted leather coat with a little fur collar around it. We see Rock. She got a little silencer situation going on. And, Juliana was like, for you. And next thing we see is Juke just giving him two to the body or the head or whatever. All we know is he is gone. Oh my God. I ain't gonna lie. I thought the scene of him dying was going to be a little more climatic, but I'm just happy it's happened. We nipped that in the bud quick and early. So Juliana, she could, tell like, oh, okay, I'm glad I got this situation handled. And, she is happy, what I'm saying? So we got that situation taken care of. So we see Detective Howard and Burke. They're at a crack house or an abandoned house. And apparently there are 3 more bodies that has been discovered upon the use of Mobetta Blues. The crack with the blue top on there. And of course, Burke, she ready to get out, make some arrests, get them stats up, okay? She ain't even arrest nobody. And I don't think she's ever arrested anybody. So she's itching. Her numbers is 00000 down the board. And she is aggravated, like, yo, my man, like, can I arrest somebody, question somebody? Like, what? I can tell she genuinely cares. She's not all in it for the stats, but, Howard was like, whoa there. This is a victimless crime. And she's like, no, these people are important. Black lives matter. And, she was like, Rock is behind this. He was like, Rock ain't behind this. Or Unique. They are too long in the game and have been in the game for too long. They're veterans. They will not pull a move like this. So he was like, we're going to, question some people and see if we can get some answers. So we see Rock, Lulu, and Marvin. They're all at the house having another sibling slash business meeting, y'all. And I just love when Rock was, she'd be like, oh, what's the mathematics for the day? I just love that, that word. I don't know why. Like, it just sound all, 80s and business like, you know what I'm saying? When she asked the question. So Lulu was like, yo, we ain't doing too well. Like, it's not even worth it at this point. We don't have no product. We ain't got no connect. And of course, he's alluding to the fact, like, we need to go on to the, to the record business, come to death row. I mean, he was just straight almost on some Suge Knight Source Awards vibes, okay? So Lulu, he mentions like, hey, there's a situation with these blue tops that's dropping folks. Like, I don't know what's going on. And of course, Marvin, he's playing dumb. And Rock was like, hey, I'm going to need you to do some investigating, Marvin. And tell those Negroes, whoever's selling those blue caps, they need to get the F out of here. Okay, they are bad for business. So Lulu and Marvin, they going back and forth about manhood and whatnot. And, Rock was like, we ain't got time for that, okay? So Marvin goes, off to his investigation and whatnot, which he ain't got to investigate because he's the Negro that's been selling the blue caps, okay? So, well, actually, it's Kanan, but, Marvin, he's pretty much ahead of that little situation. So, we have Rock. She was like, Lulu, tell me more about this proposition and this conversation you had with Unique. He was like, I done told you everything. Well, she was like, well, he must sniff something up on you to think you was going to flip on me. So what does he know? So, he got this little monologue talking about, I'm the realest nigga out here, okay? He ain't gonna F with me. I am true to this game, all right? So he will never be able to flip me. And Rock was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So Unique, he's at his little spot, and he all heated, I guess, worried about the blue caps is, making the block hot. The block is hot. Shout out to Lil Wayne and Cash Money. So he's having this temper tantrum, like he's 6 and whatnot. He throwing stuff and, slamming doors. And, Warrell, his number 2, it was like, I think it's, not Rock. Because, of course, Unique was like, I think this is Rock's situation and she is in charge of this, blah, blah, blah. Trying to make it hard on me. And Warrell was like, nah, I don't think so. So he was like, Warrell, I don't give a F what you got to say, okay? And time again, Unique is putting down his homeboys. Now, granted, we see a lot of these gangster movies and these little drug dealing shows. The boss typically they don't really listen to their staff. But Unique is constantly degrading his team. You know what I'm saying? Like, he got one of his homeboys shining his shoes in one episode. You know what I'm saying? He got Morel, over there, not really taking his word on things. And he killed his old number 2, who was smoking crack early in the season. So I either feel Unique, he's going to get to a position where his, team is going to probably leave him, okay? Because he is not a good employer, okay? He probably ain't got no 401k. You know what I'm saying? He probably ain't got no vacation days, no sick days available. He's over there working a little slave shop, okay? So, we're going to see, what Unique has in store later on. So we see Detective Burke and Detective Omar Epps, and they're doing a little crackhead interrogation. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to see what's out there and what's going on in these streets. So, him and the crackhead, they're going back and forth, and he gives him some information about who was selling the blue caps. You know what I'm saying? He slipped some little 10, little 5, whatever, enough to get him and his homeboy a couple little rocks to smoke on or whatever. And so Marvin, he, apparently called, Paige, Kanan to come to his house. And he was like, hey, everything good with these blue caps? Everything's been disposed of? And Kanan was like, yeah, like, what's the problem? The cops is sniffing, whatever. He like, nah, your mom's is on my back and told me to find whoever is, selling those blue caps. And Kanan was like, dang, man, she found out everything. And I'm like, Kanan, you didn't figure this out yet, bruh. Like, I'm so aggravated with Kanan. So we see Rock, she's over there kind of staking out Juliana's house, and Juliana's coming down the steps getting all consoled by, her family members. And, I'm saying, I'm Juliana and a lead actress award goes to Juliana, okay? Because she need to, get an Oscar or Emmy, something, because she is putting on her best tears, okay? Her best tears, you know what I'm saying? She got this widow game down pat. So Rock, she whispers, to herself like, yeah, Juliana, now call your cousin like we talked about. So we see Juke now. She across the street from Nicole's house, okay, in the Upper East Side. And she's staking out the house. So she peeps Nicole's parents. They go and get a cab and go somewhere. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, Juke, girl, what you about to do? What you about to do? You already look out of place. It's broad daylight. Like, what is going on? What is going on? So, mind you, the crackhead told Detective Howard and Burke that Little Rob was the one selling the blue caps, okay? And, he said, hey, he frequents this strip club. I'm like, dang, how he know all this information? No, they got a little, crackhead gossip chat somewhere going on. Like, don't get me wrong. I know, they be getting word out. They got their ears in their noses and their eyes to the streets. But dang, he sure knew a lot about Little Rob. So they go to the strip club. And he's like the only customer there. I'm like, yeah, he real one of them real thirsty dudes who be the only one stalking the stripper. He reminds me of probably old boy from Players Club, like Diamond. So they get a little menu from the receptionist or whatever. So he pretends that he got a warrant for Little Rob's, arrest, because, there's like 6 bodies that undropped thus far from the blue caps. And so it gave me real Training Day vibes. They kind of pulled that trick with Macy Gray in Training Day. So, they take him out to the car, they got handcuffs on him and whatnot. And he was like, tell me about these blue caps. What's going on? He was like, no, it ain't me, bro. It ain't me. And so he was like, it's Kanan. And so Detective Burke like, Kanan start? He was like, yeah. So they were like, you sure? Because he 15 in a high school. You taking, orders from him? He was like, yeah, I know he 15 and whatnot, but you know who his mom's is, son? You know who his mom's is, son? So they let him go because they got what they needed from him. And of course, they ain't had no real warrant. They had a goddamn menu. And so Burke is like, oh, we need to pick up Kanan like right now. And, Detective Howard was like, nah, let me do some solo recon and, figure out what I find out. And Burke was like, I'm tired of this solo bitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm tired of being, divided. You know what I'm saying? This is not Destiny's Child. Like, we are a group, okay? We need to do things together. And he was like, pretty much you spoke in the hood. Like, they don't really trust you around. So, of course, she kind of like in a rock and a hard place. So we're going to see, him, answering or asking some questions on his own because, that's his son. He the pappy. He can't let his son go to jail and he need his son to save his life. That ain't going to work. So back at Bulletproof Records / Death Row Records / Rockefeller Records / Murder Inc. Records / because we know, all those, I'm not going to say all of those, labels, but we can kind of see how, some of these labels have possibly, air quotes, possibly have been funded and started. So we see Crown and actually the dudes that was causing that trouble from the showcase from Brooklyn. They're all playing dice. Crown, he pushed up on some little young Tinder. And, they just all just chilling and relaxing. And I'm like, oh, there ain't no business going on. Nobody's recording. Like, what's going on? Y'all just chilling. So Lulu and his lawyer, Andre, comes in. And, Lulu points out, like, hey, hard day at work going on. Like, what's up, bruh? So he makes everybody exit and lets, Crown stay by himself. So pretty much, Lulu was like, bruh, I've been funding you. And long story short, my quote-unquote loans are now considered investments, bruh. So I have this documentation here that's going to allow us to become partners. Therefore, I would like 50% of Bulletproof Records. And Crown was like, yo, bro, we got 2 singles that's about to pop and be released next quarter. So you'll get your money plus interest. And Lulu was like, nah, bro, you're past due. Okay. So we ain't got time for no next quarter-ish, okay? So, yeah. I am going to need 50%, not 50 cents, because you trying to give me 50 cents, which is lower than what I'm trying to get, because I'm sure, based on the quote unquote mathematics, the funds from the 2 singles that so-called being released next quarter will not be the same as 50% of the company, okay? And how is this going to happen? Because Crown, bruh, you broke. What, you going to get more money from Lulu? Nah, he ain't got time for that. And I'm so happy about this scene because, everybody was kind of playing Lulu like, hey, you just the money man. Like, you're just giving up money. It's a charity case. But Lulu, he thinking. I like that. Okay. So Crown, he wasn't trying to hear it. And so Lulu, he brings out the pistol. He was like, we're going to get your John Hancock on this documentation one way or another. Okay. So next on the episode of Stakeout featuring and starring Jukebox, she breaks a window, y'all, at Nicole's house. It's like a little brownstone. So she goes to like the little, I believe it's like a little basement level. She breaks a window and she goes to Nicole's room, y'all. And she just looking at everything on the wall. She notices the tape that they made and she pops it in. I'm like, girl, you can't take that home. Like, bruh, the block is hot. I'm gonna need you not to be all up in this girl's room like this, okay? Especially uninvited. So I'm just anticipating these, parents walking in on her. So she breaks down while she watches the tape of her and Nicole singing. I'm like, Jukebox, why you putting me all through these emotions and whatnot? Like, I don't want to go through this. Why are you torturing yourself, child? Like, why? But I'm glad she was able to release these tears, okay? Because, Juke, she got a lot going on, man. So I am happy that, she's able to express her emotions, but she need to get the F out of Dodge, okay? So we see Rocky, she in a range whipping it, going down on a block. And, we hear a loudspeaker like, pull over. I'm like, God, dog, Howard, come on. Like, leave us alone, bruh. So he pretty much makes Raquel pull over. He was like, yo, I got some evidence on Kanan, okay? 6 counts of murder. She was like, what? So he was like, you need to follow me, okay? Because I'm about to arrest your boy. So they end up meeting, under a bridge or whatever. And he was like, yeah, so we got some evidence that Kanan is behind these blue caps, okay? And she was like, who told you? He was like, some dude, Little Rod from Queensbridge. So we know now. I'm saying it here, okay? Lil Rob will be dead, okay? Next episode, all right? Rock got the name. She got the location. Yeah, he's as good as dead. So, Little Rob, bye-bye, okay? So, Kanan was like, not Kanan, but Detective Howard was like, I need to meet Kanan, okay? This is my son. I want to meet him. I want to get to know him, but I need you to kind of, make it a little easier and, pass on the introduction. Rock was like, nah, bruh, I am good on that, okay? So he kind of threatens her like, yo, I'm going to put the word out that he's my son. Therefore, the streets would know you was effing a cop. Therefore, you will be labeled as a snitch, okay? And we know what happens to snitches, okay? They end up in the ditches, okay? And so she was like, well, you was pushing up on me at 16. And yeah, that ain't gonna look too good either. He was like, well, you told me you was 17. She was like, well, I was carrying a geometry book all those days we was effing. Like, you ain't put 2 and 2 together. You obviously didn't care. He was like, well, DEF CON ain't care. She was like, DEF CON was gay. And I was pretty much his cover, his beard. And so he was like, for real? She was like, yep. And he was like, are you serious? She was like, yep. He was, even though he was gay, he is 10 times the Negro that you are. Okay. So there's a lot of tea going on here. Let me sip my tea. I'm like, dang, Rock, you low key, telling, DEF CON's secret. Like, what's going on? And I'm not really sure if he's dead or alive because they speak of him as if he's alive. But if he's in jail, I would kind of feel like she would visit him or get calls from him or even Kanan. So I don't really know. Somebody refresh my memory if you guys know if he's dead or alive. So yeah, Rock is in a bind, y'all. She got to figure something out. So, Howard leaves and she's still in the park and she calls Lou and says, you know what? I need you to pick up that dry cleaning in Harlem like that I mentioned way back when. I'm like, oh, dry cleaning, Harlem. What is this riddle about? Okay, I mean, Harlem's always a great place to be. Of course, it's my little stomping grounds. But yeah, what's going on in Harlem? So Rock, she comes home, yo, and she black mama mad, okay? Black mama pissed, okay? There's pissed, and there's mama pissed, and then there's black mama pissed, okay? And she calls Kanan by his whole government name, okay? So he comes down because, he upstairs, getting his little workout on. And so he comes downstairs looking scared, y'all. Like, that trouble, that fear in your heart that you have when your mama pissed at you, she done found out some shit you done did. Like, I've been there before, so I felt Kanan, all right? And so she was like, I thought I taught you different. I thought I raised you different, okay? Either you don't give a F of what I'm trying to teach you, or you just not understanding like what's going on here, okay? So Kanan was like, you know what? I'm trying to show you that I'm a good employee. Hire me. And she was like, hire you? He was like, yeah. I mean, I came up with the whole Van Wyck situation. And she was like, yeah. And your business partner, Marvin, you know what I'm saying? You know why he is not the boss of this, organization? Because he was a dope fiend, okay? He was a drunk, he was getting high on his own supply, okay? He broke the rules, okay? He did not listen to Biggie Small's 10 Crack Commandments because 10 Crack Commandments has not been released yet, okay? Okay? So yeah, he effed up. And this is who you chose to be in business with. And of course, Kanan looking all dumb like, dang, for real? Like, I ain't know Uncle Marvin was out there. So I'm like, Marvin must have been locked up for a while and, got cleaned, okay? So apparently Kanan, he didn't do his due diligence. He didn't do his research, in terms of Uncle Marvin. And this explains why Marvin has an oral fixation. Like he's always eating something, always got to have something in his mouth. He's either smoking a cigarette. So that kind of explains, why he's always have to have something going on around his mouth. You know what I'm saying? My little psychological, situation that I'm, bringing up. Okay. Yeah, I got a little degree and whatnot in psychology. So we learned a little something about that, okay? And that also makes me think this is possibly why he is always snooping around in Jukebox's room. I'm not 100% sure, but since he has, had these type of issues in the past, maybe, and it's plus, Juju doesn't share a lot. I said Juju, Lord, please. No, not Juju, Jukebox. Jukebox from, I'm thinking of Juju from Love and Hip Hop, Cameron's ex-girlfriend, excuse me. But yeah, like that's, probably why he's always snooping around trying to figure out what's going on with her. But yeah, so Rock was like, you know what I'm saying? You don't need to be blaming me, bruh. You need to blame yourself, okay? Because Kanan was like, it's your fault. And so they going back and forth. And next thing we know, Rock smacks the dog shit out of Kanan, okay? All the dogs, the Rottweilers, all the puppies that you could find, all the things, all the dogs that, Michael Vick got, put in jail for. Like, she just smacks all the dog-ish out of him. And I wanted to be like, bravo. Encore, do it again. I got so excited for this scene because this scene just meant so much to me. You know what I'm saying? And then she just drops these, balls on him. She was like, you know what? I'm always cleaning up your effing mess. I'm always cleaning up. I'm working for fucking Molly Mays over here, okay? I am cleaning up the situation with Buck 20, the situation with D-Wiz. And he was like, D-Wiz, what's going on? She was like, yeah. D-Wiz, okay? Unique's people and Buck 20's people was coming after. They wanted a body because the streets needed a body. The streets needed a body. So, you know what I'm saying? It was either D-Wiz or you. And I wasn't going to let them kill you because you my son. So I had to put in the order for the death of your homeboy D-Wiz. So, of course, Kanan looking like, oh, my God, what the F is going on? So, he was seem a little heartbroken and whatnot. And so, yeah, y'all, Kanan, he storms out. But I'm so glad that she told him about D-Wiz, because he doesn't have to find out somewhere else. 1, 2, Kanan needed to understand the impact of all the foolishness that he has been doing, okay? Because he's just running around just like Mary Tyler Moore, like just dumb and young and full of cum up in these streets. And I'm just so glad that Rock kind of knocked some sense into him. You know what I'm saying? Verbally and physically, okay? So we see Unique, you know what I'm saying, in the, Benz or BMW was the nice little black thing. You know what I'm saying? He pulls up to this high-rise luxury apartment building. I'm like, oh, who was he visiting? Oh, no, he's not visiting. He's a resident there. I'm like, I like your style, Unique. I like your style because he making that money, okay? Because I know rent ain't cheap. He done moved on up like the Jeffersons, okay? It may have been the same building the Jeffersons were in because he was moving on up. They had a little, you know what I'm saying, doorman, a little receptionist dude. I was like, okay, Unique, nice building. I like it. And so we see Lulu has been tailing him. And I'm like, oh, what's going on here? Is this Unique chance to his opportunity to die? So, Unique goes up to the elevator. And so, mind you, the attendant that's at the little desk, the front desk, he got Unique's car keys because, it's a little valet service that the building has. So Lulu was like, hey, bruh, my buddy pal there, we left something in the car. Do you mind if I retrieve it? And, first the guy was like, I don't know what you're talking about, okay? I ain't got nothing to do with that. So, Lulu, he goes in the pocket, he grabs a couple of seed notes or little George Washington's, Abraham Lincoln's, whatever. I don't know how much it was, but it was enough and enticing enough for old dude to give Lulu the keys. So he gets, the keys, and Lulu, he sees Unique's little custom Gucci jacket in the back seat. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm like, is this the quote unquote dry cleaning from quote unquote Harlem that Rock was referring to? Because she had just called him. So I'm like, it looks like a little setup is approaching and I like it. But how did they know that he was going to have some clothing in his back seat? I don't know. There's a couple of holes here they need to fill in for me, but I'm just going to take it as face value. So back at Baisley, the projects that Rock is shutting up shop, the new and improved Carter, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to New Jack City. And she's in this bad little leopard jumpsuit. I'm like, go ahead, Rock. I love her style on this show. Like, the wardrobe people got everybody on point. So, Marvin there, you can tell he's kind of taking his, situation serious. He's telling the dudes like, hey, we got to make sure we on schedule. We got to work on the weekends. Like, we got to get this up and running. So Rock, she, tells the workers, let me have a moment with my brother, okay? And so she proceeds to ask Marvin for an update. And so, he's talking and whatnot. He got his back turned a little bit. And before you know it, Rock hits him upside his head with a 2x4. I'm like, dang, Rock. This is her episode. She done caught a body with Gabriel. She done smacked the dog crap out of Kanan. And then now she's hitting Marvin with a 2x4, 4x4, whatever the, multiplication is, okay? So I'm like, dang, Rock, you got a lot of aggression, and I love it. I like it because she was a little vulnerable last episode or whatnot when she almost got raped. So I'm like, yeah, girl, take your power, take out your frustration because, seeing she ain't been having no sex with Symphony in this episode, she got to get all that aggression out, okay? And, everybody that she's been taking it out on, deserved it. So it's not misplaced or anything. So, of course, when she got hit, when she hit Marvin already knew, dang, she done found out about this whole Van Wyck situation. So he's explaining like, yo, Kanan had a great idea. You know what I'm saying? I was, not the really best that, I kept it from y'all, but y'all would shut me out, man. Y'all wouldn't give me a chance. And Rock was like, I can't trust you. I can't count on you. You got my son about to be facing these body counts. Like, I can't do nothing with you. So she pretty much fires Marvin from being her brother and employee. And I was just like, no, like, we can't break up the family, man. Like, I felt like Lil Amada and Soul Food. I'm like, no, we can't do this. Like, I really felt some type of way, y'all. Oh my God, this episode was just pouring at my heartstrings. I was like, dang. And Marvin, he was like pleading, like, please give me one more chance. Biggie, give me one more chance. Like, I'm like, dang, like, oh, it was so hurtful. And Marvin, he was like, okay, you know, whatever you say. I'm like, dog, man. So we see Jukebox. She's back. You know, well, she's still at Nicole's house. You could tell either she fell asleep or just in the daze. And you could tell hours have passed. And she's playing with the little typewriter. Oh, my God. I had a typewriter, y'all. Oh, I'm feeling so old right now. So, yeah, Juke, you know, she starts gathering her things. And she looks at her book bag and sees the note that Nicole left her. And we see the lights cut on, and Nicole's dad kind of enters the room, and he was like, Juke, like, you have to leave. Like, he seemed a little shocked it was her there, and she was just, you know, stone-faced, and he kind of looks at her, and he sees the tears and the hurt on her face, and I could tell the dad is more, you know, sympathetic towards the situation, and I think he really knows that Juke truly loved Nicole. And so he's like, well, you have to leave. We didn't know it was you. So apparently they called the cops, and because they thought it was a robbery, because, you know what I'm saying, she broke a window in their home. So of course the mama come in hollering and doing her little Karen-ish and like, you're the reason she's dead, you know, through your ghetto drugs and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? We had to lie to our loved ones as to how she died, blah, blah, blah. So the cops proceed to arrest Jukebox, okay? So back at Davina's house, you know what I'm saying, I pretty much predicted this, that, you know, CPS, you know, pretty much took them. So they are now in foster care. You know what I'm saying? Kanan rose up because, you know, when he's stressed and whatnot, he always running to her house. And I'm like, she's the ops, but he's a little whoop. So, you know what I'm saying? He don't know no better. And, you know, we see the social worker, she's putting trash bags inside of the car. So he asks what's going on, and the neighbor is, you know, pretty much telling Kanan like, yo, the mother died last month, but they just identified the body last week. It's for the best. You know what I'm saying? She can't keep taking care of this little girl. So, of course, we don't know if Davina will ever show back up. I do feel like maybe season 2, you know, maybe she tries to come after Kanan or something because she truly realized that he killed Buck 20. She's going to want her little revenge, and maybe Jukebox will kill her. I don't know. That's like maybe far-fetched, but that's maybe kind of a low-key prediction that I have, but I don't feel like we've seen Davina for the last time. And maybe if she is in a foster home in the neighborhood, she may still be going to the same school, so they may still be seeing each other if Kanan does not drop out of school by then, okay? Because we know he wants to do the drug thing, and the drug thing and the school thing, that don't really last. That don't really coincide for the most part, so he's going to have to choose one or the other, okay? So we see Lulu and Jessica. Oh, God, I hate Jessica. So they're in bed, y'all. Like, they're in bed. They're not in a studio. They are not in a limo getting on. Like, they actually had sex in the bed this time, okay? And they're looking at the contract. She was like, yeah, my baby making moves and whatnot. So she starts rolling out a little action plan to roll out Famous, you know what I'm saying? Because she don't want him to be no one-hit wonder. So, of course, you know, Lulu, he's automatically annoyed. Like, oh, my God, here she go with this bullshit again. Like, dang, why we got to be talking about what she need? You know what I'm saying? So he's peeping game. Like, it's never enough. She's always out for self and wanting something from him. So he's just trying to, you know, relax. You know what I'm saying? He said, hey, we just had our little orgasms and whatnot, and we talking about Famous. Like, come on. He's trying to roll a nice little blunt. He's trying to chill. He's not trying to talk business. He just want to celebrate right now, okay? So back, you know what I'm saying, at the ride-along situation. Not really ride-along, but Jukebox, she's in the cop car, you know, going to the precinct. And, you know what I'm saying, in the little dispatcher, they was like, yo, we got a pretty much a report from Queens. They got a little request that the detective says let the girl loose. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much they drop her off at a subway station, I was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? You know, some people in some high places. You're probably going to owe this person something. Okay, so we know most likely it's probably Detective Burke. You know what I'm saying? She had like a little alert in regards to Jukebox. And so, yeah, Jukebox is probably going to be owing her a favor. And it's interesting to figure out, what is that favor going to be? Okay. So back at Club Truth, aka Club Snitch, actually, we see Marvin and Tony, they getting it in, you know, little doggies down action and whatnot. And they're going at it very passionately. And the camera keeps panning to this little device, okay? This little doohickey, you know what I'm saying, that's blinking. So it looks like there's a little wire, situation going on in this office. So, Marvin was like, yo, I'm going to need that bread that I had loaned you or that you owe me ASAP pronto. She was like, well, what exactly did I, purchase or, from you to whether you need this money? And, they're going back and forth. She's acting all dumb. And apparently, it looks like she's trying to get some information out of him because it looks like she is snitching. Marvin's like, I ain't got no patience for this. Like, he just want his bread. He just got laid off. Okay. He needs to gather up all his coins. You know what I'm saying? His 401k. Okay. His little retirement plan or whatnot. And you playing with this man's money. So he storms out. So Tony, she, starts talking to these two guys who obviously looks like cops, okay? And, apparently she got in a situation where she got arrested for, possession and whatnot. So I guess to kind of keep her, record clean, or a little deal that she made is to, bring some, business or information towards the cops. And she's explaining to the cops like, yo, his family sell drugs. They sell drugs. Like, come on, like, I promise you, I got information. Because Tony said she was blowing Marvin up. And, he would not return her call. But of course, coincidentally, he got a little more time on his hands because he is on retirement for right now. He's in between jobs. So therefore, he needed to, probably release some tension. And then he also needed to grab his coins. So he had a multi-purpose visit there. But he just got his rocks off. He did not actually get his money. So meanwhile, look who at work, y'all. It must be a Tuesday or a Thursday because we see Symphony. He's peeping this whole situation at the bar, y'all. I was so happy to see you, Nick. I'm like, damn, glad he's not with Rock right now because, he likes to call off. He likes to use his vacation days and his time off to, be boning Rock. So I'm just glad he's peeping everything. So we know that Symphony is probably going to come through in the clutch and tell Rock what's going on to save his boo thing, okay? Because we don't need no, jailhouse situation. We don't need, no Remy Ma / Papoose situation, love behind bars, love after lockup situation. We need to be free. So Symphony, he's going to definitely come in handy soon. So Rock and the new connect, they're having a little dinner meeting. They're at the table and, all his crew is surrounding them and Rock got her bodyguard. I'm like, Rock, you need more people, boo. Like, old boy got like 6 partners, with that fire on them and you got one little bodyguard. Like, but they probably wouldn't allowed a lot of people in there with Rock anyway. That's not how it works. You know what I'm saying? So they're talking about, their possible workings together. And, he also references Gabriel, do you know who possibly have done it or whatever? And so Rock pretty much tells him like, yo, I killed Gabriel, okay? So your cousin probably didn't tell you because he looked kind of surprised. So I'm like, Juliana was supposed to tell, tell her cousin that Rock, put Gabriel down. But the fact that she possibly didn't got me looking at Juliana sideways. I'm like, oh, boo-boo, you're not a woman of your word. So yeah, we're probably going to have to keep an eye out on Juliana. I ain't really trusting her right now. And I know she's probably trying to boss up. And she probably will boss up. But yeah, Rock, you got to keep your eyes on her. So, the new connect, I'm sorry, I can't think of his name right now. It starts with a J, but I can't think of it. So he was like, yeah, so we saw you talking to Detective Howard, and she looking like, oh, what's going on? He's like, yeah, we've been following you. So what's going on? Are you a snitch? She was like, nah, he on my payroll. And I just killed Gabriel. So when you think I'm killing people at 9 and snitching at 5? Like, nah, bruh, that ain't what I'm about. And yeah, it reminded me of like a training day of when old boy was at the Mexican's house, and they, had him in a tub about to kill him, and they find their niece's wallet in him. So he explains, hey, I just saved your niece from getting raped. Like he had that, that blessing from God at the right moment. So I'm glad that Rock had that in her back pocket, because you know what I'm saying? The Cubans, they all about family, okay? They all about the family, this little thing of theirs, okay? So the fact that Rock did that and had that in her back pocket, that saved her. And so he was like, you sure Howard is not going to be an issue? She was like, nah. And I'm like, yeah, this is going to be an issue that's going to be brewing soon. Like, this is not going to be good. And so Rock was like, I'm going to change the game, okay? And he was like, well, how? You know what I'm saying? You need to let me know what your plans are before we get into business together, because, yeah, we need to be careful. And this is very much different than Dean, because Dean was just straight supplying him. He didn't really care about what Rock and Unique was doing. He just like, hey, I don't want no drama. Just be drama free, and I'm going to give y'all drugs. But no. Joaquin, whatever his name is, he is a little more personal with his stuff. He needs to know all of your business. He probably going to be pulling up credit reports and whatnot on Rock, because he don't trust us. In general, other races don't trust African Americans, but he seems particularly, just nosy and whatnot. So yeah, Rock was like, okay, I'm going to tell you my little action plan, but we're going to be good. We're going to be doing business together. I'm like, Rock, is this whole Carter thing you're changing the game? Because I'm like, I'm going to need you to do a little more. If you would have told him about, Murder Inc., that Lulu got going on, I could see. But yeah, I don't really, yeah, we're going to have to figure out what's going on with that. So, yeah, we see Unique with his homeboys, and they're having a little pep talk. They tooling up. They got the guns out. They got these little concoctions going on that they putting in the trunk. So he was like, hey, we're about to send a message, and I want it to be heard loud and clear, and I want it to come through effectively, okay? So make sure your Wi-Fi is on and strong, because we need these messages, the emails, the texts, all that to be coming through, okay? So, we now see Kanan and Jukebox. They're on the steps of Kanan's house, and they, discuss Davina. She was like, yeah, I heard about Davina. He was like, yeah, it's effed up, you know what I'm saying? And so she takes out the little blue top out of her pocket, and she was like, this is what killed Nicole. She took it out my bag and smoked it. And, Kanan just like feeling like shit. I'm like, Kanan just having a horrible day, okay? And a lot of people are not having a good day today. This is a bad day for a lot of folks, okay? And Kanan is one of them. He feels so much remorse, but I just love Jukebox emotional intelligence, because she said, Kanan, it's not your fault. I don't blame you. And I can't really even blame myself. So I'm glad that Juke is not taking fault for this, because it is not her fault. It is unfortunately Nicole's fault. Of course, there are people that have put things in place, aka Kanan, but it is not his fault ultimately. So we at Lulu's crib, and he's just chilling out. He got him a little drink. He popped in Isley Brothers. The song is called Footsteps in the Dark. And also, it's ironically the sample that Ice Cube used for Today Was a Good Day. And I'm like, oh, this is so ironic, because this is not a good day, and it's really about to end bad for Lulu, okay? Whew, Lord. So he's on the couch chilling, and his phone is ringing. And, it goes to voicemail. So Rock, she leaves him a message, hey, batter up. And he was telling, to himself, like, I'm off tonight. And I'm like, Lord, Lulu, you should have went to work. You should have went to work. So we see this car pulls up, it shuts off the lights. It's like a bunch of dudes just come out. They, throw the little concoction in the window of Lulu's house. It starts a fire. And Raquel actually threw it. And, this is payback, because you should have killed Raquel, Lulu. Like, for real, you effed up. But this is karma. This is how things happen. So Raquel told everybody just to light it up. So they shooting, guns blazing. Of course, Lulu was smart. He's smart. He stopped, drop, and roll. I'm like, yes, Lulu, stop, drop, and roll. You learned your lesson in elementary. You know what happens when a fire happens. So he, gets a little gun. He starts shooting. I'm like, Lulu, that's not going to really work. That reminded me of the scene of Harlem Nights. Like, you need more gunpowder. Like, maybe do you have a back door you can try to sneak out of? But it was just too much smoke. And it was just a lot going on. So before we see Marvin going down the street, I'm like, oh, this Lulu street you going? Did they live together? Were they roommates? Or what's going on here? Were they neighbors? Like, is this a coincidence? What's going on? So Raquel, he kind of sees like, oh, this may be Marvin coming up. So we have a little repeat of the whole stash house situation where he's shooting out his window. They're shooting at, him. So Raquel was like, all right, we out, guys. So they go. And Marvin fucks up another vehicle. I don't know who he's going to have insurance with the next time he get a new car. State Farm, Progressive, I don't know. But yeah, y'all, it's going to be hard. Or can he even get another car since he ain't got no job? Like, he's like Tommy from Martin at this point. So Marvin, he's shaking up. You know what I'm saying? I thought he got shot because he seemed a little battered. So he tries to go into the house, starts calling for Lulu. We see Lulu laying down on the ground. It looks like he's passed out or even dead from smoke inhalation. And so he carries Lulu out the house and he just like lays him on the ground in the middle of the street. He was like, somebody help me. I'm like, Lulu, did you have any like CPR lessons in jail or something? Like, can you just do some, some pushes on his chest, give him some mouth resuscitation, like something. Like, we need help. So y'all, the episode ends and I legit was pissed for at least an hour. I was so hurt. Like, I tell my husband felt the shift. Like, he probably was looking at me like, dang, Lulu, like, what's going on? Like, why are you feeling this way? But y'all, this hurt me. Like, I felt like Lulu was my uncle, man. Like, I already predicted that he would die possibly, but just to see this happen, y'all, I'm just so like, oh my God, like, it really effed with me. And I'm like, why am I feeling this way from a goddamn show? Like, this is ridiculous, y'all. But let me get out of here because this is a long ass review. But yeah, y'all, I think he's dead. It's possible that he could not be dead and may possibly go to the hospital and die in the hospital. I don't know. I just feel like to move the story along, it may be best for him to be dead. But of course, I want him to survive because I love me some Lulu. And, we need to figure out what's going on with this record company situation. Like, we can't let Crown off that easy, okay? Y'all, we got 2 more episodes left. I can't take no more. Like, I got to get my ass pumped. So I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.